Hello, everybody. It is October the 18th, 2020, right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm doing okay. This is going to be a very interesting and different episode of Wrestleview Weekly. I will tell you why in just a little bit. I am Doug Lackey, veteran columnist of Wrestleview.com and co-host of Wrestleview Live, which I am alongside the effervescent editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com, Mike Tedesco, where we cover all of the major WWE pay-per-views as they happen live, because we do watch-alongs for each pay-per-view. Next Sunday, WWE's Hell in a Cell, Turmoil in a Box pay-per-view is happening next Sunday, and so the effervescent one and myself will be here live 6:30 in the evening. While he is covering it live on Wrestleview.com, I'll be talking about it live as it's going on. Join us if you're doing absolutely nothing except watching that pay-per-view or otherwise. Something to do. We get stupid. I say stupid things. And definitely partake in adult beverages during it, because how else are you going to watch professional wrestling? You're going to watch that sober? Come on now. Today on the show is a very peculiar one. Because apart from the news and apart from the always popular WWE milk carton, we are talking nothing but AEW. Last Wednesday was AEW's one-year anniversary on TNT, AEW Dynamite. And so, take it upon myself to watch that episode of AEW. So, on Lackey's list, the 5 things from said show on AEW Dynamite, and my thoughts on the show as a whole. You know, after its 1 year of being on television, I've got a lot of interesting things to say about it, and they are not all negative, all right? I know I've always shown plenty of botches from AEW Dynamite and can't help but do it, but there are some positive things to talk about with that television program, and I will definitely discuss those. But also, with it being 1 year since AEW Dynamite's appearance on our television screens, I want to talk about AEW's impact on the professional wrestling industry as a whole. And this is not going to be, there's nothing negative about it. I assure you, I am not here to denounce or put down AEW in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I think they are one of the best things to happen to professional wrestling in the past 10 years. And also, we've got to think about the future of professional wrestling with AEW playing an integral part in it. We have to face facts here, and they're good facts at that, in that there's going to need to be a life post-McMahon. And AEW is going to play a major factor in it. So once again, I'm going to talk about the impact of AEW throughout the professional wrestling industry. And also kind of, I was educated and informed a lot in my research about All Elite Wrestling during this. And so I'm going to share that with you. Not just the stuff you watch on TV and the performers. That's not really part of this discussion. It's more about the organization as a whole and how the future is very, very bright for AEW. And we are not just talking the television show. So you got to open up your mind and broaden your horizons a little bit for this discussion. But until then, got to get the pleasantries out of the way first. If you're in the chat room now, you say, wee! If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. Who all is in the chat room today? I see always the OG of Wrestleview Weekly, Jamel. I see Andrew. Who else is in there? I saw Gills. I see, who else? I think I saw CJ. I think I saw CJ, my retro gamer, in there. I see CJ. There they all are. Whee! I see Mashoon. I see Gills. There's Gills. There's everybody. Yes, they're all filtering in. Oh, that's very good indeed. Yes, everyone go whee! Yes. Okay, so that is what is on the docket today. A lot of AEW talk that I'm sure is going to make the recapper for Wrestleview, Josh Boutwell, very happy. I am serious. I am not going to be trouncing AEW that much. Okay? I'm being very positive. Seriously, being very positive, being very open-minded. Speaking of, first off, Hell in a Cell coming up next week. Predictions for that show will be made that night on 6:30. Yes, I will be making predictions that night, so that we can get all that out of the way. The WWE Draft has come and gone. Nights 1 and 2 have come and gone. And on last week's show, I made 6 predictions regarding WWE Draft Night 2, which took place last Monday. And I made 6 predictions, 3 for Raw and 3 for SmackDown. And every one of those predictions that I made, I locked those predictions. Doug, what do you mean by locking a prediction? Well, when I am confident in a prediction that I make, whether they be in pay-per-views or WWE programming or otherwise, I lock them, because I'm very confident in my choices. But when those locked predictions do not come to fruition, we take a shot of the Lunazul Blanco tequila. 6 locks from night 2 of the WWE Draft. My Raw predictions of Braun Strowman, Alexa Bliss, and Bray Wyatt were all correct. However, my predictions of Keith Lee, Charlotte Flair, and the Wyatt Squad were not. So, those will be, that's 3 locks. That's 3 shots. 2 of those we're going to take care of right now. But before we do that, let's go over the sources. What are the sources today for the show? It is fall. It officially fall a long time ago. And great beers come out during the fall. Your ambers, your brown beers, your ales, lagers are big. But most importantly, it's the Oktoberfests. The Oktoberfest beers. And so the Marzen lagers. And so today we are partaking of Foothills Brewery Oktoberfest. Foothills Brewery out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Let me see. Do we got a descriptor on here? Yes, we do. Prince Ludwig was a man of the people, which is why when he married in 1810, he invited the entire town of Munich. Thus, Oktoberfest was born, along with the sweet, dark amber lager that has become the namesake of that annual celebration. Ours stays true to the classic style, with notes of toasted bread and roasted almonds. Prost! So yes, that's what we are going to do. So let me crack this guy open. There we go. I've got another one in the hopper, and they are going to be poured into the Stein of Redemption. Gonna damn well need it for all of the missed locks that we had here. So pour that guy in there. That's very good. That's very, very good. Oh, of course, people always ask, the ABV on this one is a 5.8. 5.8 is what we got on there. CJ, you only need 2 shots. Yeah, that's right. I only need 2 shots. I'm not taking. Do I? Did the Riot Squad go? Andrew telling me the Riot Squad did move to SmackDown. Well, crap. Okay, cool. I like that. Sweet. I'm only doing 2. That's great, because I did not want to do a shot of tequila going into the Hell in a Cell watch along next week. So, whew. Undeserved shots aren't good. That is correct. All right, we got the second one we're going to pour into this guy to make it nice and full, because I don't like having a tepid beer. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Nice and full. Nice and full of that one. Give a swig from the open one. Good body on that one. Oh, good almond taste too. Gills, you're welcome, Doug. Well, thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's very good. Of the Oktoberfest beers that I enjoy the most, Foothills Brewery is definitely one. Another one is from OMB Brewery, Old Mecklenburg Brewery out of Charlotte. Mechtoberfest is that one too. So yes. Prost, honors and respects. All right, let's get the disgustingness out of the way. The putrid, the disgusting. Let's go ahead and pour this. Let's get this out of the way. Lamar, hi, Lamar. Everyone else will tell you how you're supposed to cordially introduce yourself here, but hi, you say wee. That's what you do. Here we go. All right, let me move the mic out of the way here. Shot glass. Here we go. Gingerly pour this. It's hard to do it when you're, there we go. It's kind of hard to pour this when you're trying to, do it in front of the camera so you guys see that I have integrity. Here we go. Let me cover that up. All right. God, I hate doing this. I hate tequila, straight up. I love margaritas, lemon shooters, maybe lemon shooters, I guess. But oh God, do I despise tequila straight up. Oh boy. Well, at least it's not 3. That's pretty good. No, we're doing pretty good. For the year, we had a spell at the beginning of the year where we were tequila free. We were doing fantastic. But then somehow I think it really tapered off going into summer times. But yeah. All right. All right, here we go. As always, here it is. Hold it up to the front. There we go. You all know the drill. You all know what I say. Jamel beat me to the punch, but here we go. Raise it up, as is tradition. Here's to me not knowing shit about professional wrestling. Long. Oh, God. Fucking disgusting. Ugh. I don't know what's more disgusting, that or the continuing Rollins Mysterio shenanigans on SmackDown. Oh, God. I miss summertime when I would do those, those locks, and chasing it with a sour was fine. It made it way more, not easier to take, I guess is the best way to put it. I am not looking forward to the winter to where when I miss a lock and I got to follow it with a porter or a stout, it is not going to be good. Oh, God. However, the porters and stouts have the biggest ABV. Kentucky Breakfast Stout out of Founders Brewery. Give me a 10.7. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, boy, that's good stuff. We'll have some Dragon's Milk on here, too. Yeah, we'll have some Dragon's Milk Stout on here, too. If you haven't had that, definitely pick you up some Dragon's Milk. It is very good. By the way, no technical difficulties this time around. I figured out everything. The only thing that's going to keep this show from going off the rails is the internet. So, place your bets on that one. All right. Lackey's List. 5 things to pay attention to. And they're all from the land of AEW, and never mind the WWE logo. No, it's not the logo. It's a Lackey's List thing. The nice graphic. Yeah. It's the Lackey's List graphic. It's not going to be the WWE graphic. Doug, what's your problem? This this list is almost in chronological order of AEW from Dynamite from last week. Every match on the program was a title match. The thing is, it still did not feel like a special episode of AEW. But the problem is, too, I haven't watched... I think throughout this entire calendar year of AEW being on television, I think I've only watched like 4 or 5 episodes all the way through. So last Wednesday's episode was probably the first episode I watched all the way through in 3 months, maybe, something like that, ever since the Stadium Stampede episode. What you're watching here is the tag team title match of the champions FTR, or the Revival, facing off against best friends of Chucky Taylor and Trent. Reason I bring this match up is, first off, this sequence that you're seeing here of the pop-up into the powerbomb and then into, I guess... I don't know, all kinds of spots in this one, and yet Chuck Taylor still kicks out of that. This match was chock full of finisher kickouts, as is most AEW matches are chock full of. But when it comes to AEW's tag team stuff, only the heels will break up pins. You won't see the baby faces rush in to break up a pin. That's what kind of shocked me about this spot, is that Chuck Taylor is not trying to drag himself in there to break up the pin. Gory special. CJ telling me that's what the gory special, that's what Cash was doing. But the other thing that I want to mention about the tag team division with AEW, because we have to wade through so much commentary about how, WWE doesn't know how to do tag team wrestling. Do you know how AEW has been doing tag team wrestling? In order to determine who the contender is for the tag team championships, they have been doing fatal 4-ways, and then the winner of that faces off against the tag team champions the following week. They have been doing this, I believe, the next fatal 4-way coming up next week. It involves the Young Bucks, the Dark Order, 2 other teams that just don't, who knows? I don't know. All I know is the past episodes of Dynamite, they've been doing fatal 4-ways to determine a number 1 contender, and that's it. There haven't been any programs or anything to build up something for a tag team championship. Reason for that, AEW bases their championship matches off of records. But they mainly keep track of singles records and not tag team records. And so it makes it incredibly difficult to want to build a program involving the tag team championships. Gills and Immortal ones there. Mashoon telling me that Private Party was one as well. Okay, so if you've got a problem with WWE's booking of tag team matches, tag team championship matches, or everything else, then you should have a problem with AEW's booking of tag team championship matches, okay? I'm not saying that they don't have as diverse of a roster. Of course, AEW, I think, probably has way more of a diverse roster when it comes to tag teams than WWE does. But which one is better at booking said championship matches? Take your pick. WWE has been recycling the same championship matches for Lord knows how long. And AEW, the only way they can find something fresh is doing a fatal 4-way and then having the championship match the following week. No storylines really being built or anything. But that's AEW, you know? I mean, if that's what you like, so be it. I'm not going to put you down. But just don't say the other side stinks when your side is not really doing so much. There was only one segment. Well, there was a match that was not a championship match, and that was Miro and Kip Sabian squashing a team and Miro getting on a mic and saying, "You break my shit, game over," because a video game console was destroyed. Doug, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the other segment on AEW involved Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF, saying he had a major announcement involving Chris Jericho and his Inner Circle stable. Here you see a picture of MJF holding up a very, very disgruntled Sammy Guevara's arm up because apparently MJF got everyone in Inner Circle jackets to wear, and Sammy Guevara's jacket was incredibly large. And so throughout the entire segment involving the Inner Circle and MJF is just so enthused about the jacket, and Sammy's got his floppy little arms going, "What is this?" And he's pointing his arm out with the sleeve hanging out by nearly 8 or 9 inches. The segment involving MJF is that he called out Chris Jericho, called him out. The two of them are going out for steak dinner this Wednesday on Dynamite. It was a very funny segment, okay? MJF, if we are going to talk about heels on professional wrestling television programs, if we want to talk about the best heels in professional wrestling on television, MJF right now is close to overtaking Baron Corbin, and that's only because Baron Corbin is not on television that often and hasn't really been placed into an effective program yet. MJF, when we went to All In, the very first All In from AEW a couple of years ago, a couple of Labor Day weekends ago, over in Chicago, I was rolling on the floor from MJF. He is absolutely fantastic. His facial expressions, his cadence on the mic, he never stutters, never stammers. He is fantastic on the stick, and what he does in the ring is just as good. Young kid, too. What is this? I think he's 25. I think he's like 25 or 26 years old right now. He is fantastic. The scarf has been with him forever. He has had the same hair, the same neck beard that I just want to punch him in the face for having. He is a fantastic heel in professional wrestling. Okay, if you can try to get away from, he loves putting the little marquee references into a lot of his monologues. If you can get away from that, he is a fantastic heel. Him and Orange Cassidy would probably be the only two reasons I would tune into AEW. Gil's informing me, 24 years old. He's 24. I thought he was 25 or 26. I know he was 21 or 22 when I saw him 2 years, couple of Labor Day weekends ago over at All In. But man, this guy, no, he's entertaining as hell. The problem, though, is your number one babyface in AEW right now is Jon Moxley. And we are seeing the flaws in that. When they tried doing it in the WWE, it didn't fly. We blamed Dolph Ziggler for it. We blamed programs that he was in, but now training wheels are off, and Jon Moxley is not a viable babyface. In fact, the only babyface right now that's incredibly viable in AEW is probably Orange Cassidy. So it's really hard when you've got great heels like MJF, Chris Jericho. I'll throw Brody. I'll throw Brody Lee into the mix too. I will throw all three of those there. They're great heels for AEW, but if you do not have incredible baby faces to match them, then they mean nothing. We just wait for a swerve of some kind. Who knows who it'll be from? But right now, that's the only. That's what I believe is what's keeping AEW away is not a viable baby face. and it's really difficult to find. They don't have a main character on this program, but they do have an incredible heel in MJF. I mean, he's magnificent. I haven't shown this television program to my father. My father, the one who introduced me to professional wrestling and who we watch professional wrestling more to laugh at than cheer or boo. My father would love MJF, especially with his interactions with Chris Jericho. On the list, number 3 to pay attention to from the AEW Dynamite. There was a women's title match between Hikaru Shida and Big Swole. I never heard of either of these two. Never seen them. I don't know. But how do I put? One of the biggest gripes I've heard about AEW, apart from botches galore, I didn't see any botches in this episode of AEW Dynamite, so I would laud those, but I haven't seen, and I didn't see any botches, so I'm not going to post. I didn't show any of those. One of the biggest gripes you hear about AEW is that they have no women's division. Well, they had this match. They had a segment involving Tony Schiavone and Dr. Britt Baker in a massage parlor or salon, and Schiavone got his chest waxed. I didn't know he needed his chest waxed. But I'm bringing this match up because this match between Shida and Big Swole did not occur until we were an hour and a quarter into AEW. An hour and a quarter into AEW Dynamite, we finally got a women's match. One in the chat room going, wee! On an episode of Friday Night SmackDown, you would have had women appear on your show at least before halfway through the show. Monday Night Raw, women have been main eventing Monday Night Raw once every 3 or 4 episodes. I can't remember the last time. I don't know. Someone refresh me. The last time AEW had a women's main event ending the show. I don't know. I'm sure it involved Hikaru Shida or maybe the what's the waifu that only weighs 25 pounds? Miho? I think that's who it is, or Riho or something. When is the last time women main evented AEW Dynamite? Goose in the chat room going, wee! That's my only gripe with AEW. I am not going to put down their women's division. They have plenty of competent... Well, hold on. I need to take a swig on that one. They have plenty of female talent, okay? Shida, Big Swole, Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, Chickadee, who's in New Order. They just signed up Tainara Conti. They've got plenty of female performers. They have plenty of them. But they just aren't being shown. Mashoon telling me that's an unfair comparison, though, because WWE have an unlimited amount of women. Granted, I will give you that, okay? I am not comparing quantity between talent, okay? I am not comparing the quantity because that's incredibly unfair. I can't compare quantity of rosters between the two. That's incredibly unfair. However, they still have the talents to show on their television show. They have enough to show something. And I'm not saying that it needs to dominate the program. I'm not saying they need to have 2 women's matches. There's no way you can do that in your 2-hour program. I know you can't, even though WWE will try to. But AEW, you need to show your female talent at a better time on your television show. Okay? You could have had Miro and Kip Sabian stew over their broken video game cabinet for another 20 minutes before bringing them out there. You could have done that after the women's championship match. Okay? Andrew and CJ telling me that Impact has the best women's division. I need to check that out. I wish I could agree with it, but I don't know. I'll take your word for it, but I can't agree with it. You know, I can't make assumptions on stuff that I haven't seen. And I know that Impact Wrestling is not the good old TNA that we remember it for. But women's divisions, nonetheless, AEW can do a better job of booking their women's division than they are right now. Okay? That's all when it comes to that. There's no reason why you should have a women's title match, $1.25 into your 2-hour program. Thing number 4. All right. First off, for the first time in human history, Orange Cassidy locked up. He did an elbow and collar tie-up. He's never done that. He's never done that. It was done for the first time ever in his TNT title match with Cody. I said before I would not have a lot of gripes about AEW. And you've heard a few of my gripes. This is my biggest gripe of all about AEW. And it's all centered around Cody. We need to talk about the elephant in the room here when it comes to AEW. And that's Cody. He has the longest entrance of anyone on the roster. He has the longest title of himself in AEW. He is the only one in AEW that, if I got to pause this here. Hold on. Whoops. Right there. No. I've got to try to forward this over so you can see right here. Cody is the only one who, if you look in the back on that entrance ramp, Cody is the only one who walks through that ramp through the dead center. He does not walk through an entrance tube on the left and the right. He doesn't walk through the crowd like Jon Moxley. Cody is the only one who walks dead center through that set. So much emphasis is placed on him. He comes out with Brandy Rhodes, who has tried so hard to get into professional wrestling. I'm not going to go over all the misfires with her. Arn Anderson walks out alongside Cody Rhodes carrying a menu from his local deli as if he's an NFL coach, as if he's got plays on there to tell Cody what to do. Cody is flanked by way too many things. He has way too much going for his entrances, and this is a guy who says he wants to prop up others. It's obnoxious. It's incredibly obnoxious. I don't know exactly what he wants to be or what he envisions himself to be. He's always wanted to be a champion of a company. Well, here you go. You got it. Wants to have open challenges and, kind of be a John Cena or a Triple H or something. I don't know what he wants to be. Cody is one of the main reasons I don't watch AEW. One of the main reasons I don't. I don't get it. And I believe there are a lot of fans of AEW that would agree with me that just do not like the presentation of Cody. Okay? I can reminisce about all the past about Cody. I mean, I loved Dashing Cody Rhodes. I thought Stardust was great. But apart from that, whatever the hell he is in AEW ain't working for me. And for anyone who watches a little bit of WWE and wants to dabble into AEW would be turned off by Cody. Jamel saying Cody and ADF is Jeff Jarrett and TNA. definitely get the comparisons right there. It's just, it's annoying. It's annoying and it's obnoxious, you know? But the problem is, what would Cody be in this organization if he didn't have a title? You're going to try to put him into a storyline program of some kind? You had him in one with MJF. You had him in one with Chris Jericho. What are you going to do with him? And they don't have a creative writing staff. I don't know who their creative writing staff is, other than the people that are in the ring and those that are at ringside, a la Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Jake the Snake, to try to incorporate the 40 and 50 and 60-somethings to watch their program. AEW is at a crossroads right now to where they need to figure out who their audience is. Who are you trying to appeal to? You trying to appeal to me? I turned 41 this year. I've been watching professional wrestling for 35 years. My memory banks go deep. I mean deep, okay? You're trying to appeal to me? You're trying way too hard. Maybe I don't have enough money in my pocket and you don't try to sell to me. Maybe you're trying to sell to the 20-somethings. You know, the ones that say that WWE sucks and they want something brand new. But yet, you're not exactly brand new. Not showing me anything really brand new. Anything is you're rehashing Triple H here. Cody is one of the main reasons I don't watch AEW. For the presentation of him is the thing. Orange Cassidy, on the other hand, is a completely different story, but it hurts that we don't have a live crowd for Orange Cassidy to play upon. I love Orange Cassidy. Ever since we watched some matches blindly of his, where he had one match against Gentleman Jarvis, I think it was, and I can't remember what the second match was, but I love Orange Cassidy. I love his shtick, love the gimmick, love everything. But AEW is not doing Orange Cassidy any favors right now. That, I just don't know. And this match that Cody and Cassidy had went into a 20-minute time limit draw. And they're apparently going to have another match this coming Wednesday. However, at Full Gear, on the first Saturday of November, Cody is defending the TNT title against Darby Allin. So, I guess I really shouldn't pay attention to the Orange Cassidy match next week. Just saying, you're doing yourselves in from the future booking AEW. I guess that's what I'm trying to tell you. I guess. Finally, the final thing. I'm excited because I'm really excited to tell you about this one. Final thing to pay attention to from AEW Dynamite anniversary show from last Wednesday. Eddie Kingston having words for Johnny Moxley. After Johnny Moxley had a match against Lance Archer, that was a no DQ match for the AEW title. And Kingston here giving Moxley some words as they go off air, but then they would come back on air and they would air some of this on the YouTubes. Jamel telling me Darby is another one I like a lot. He's got a good look, okay, but he's just a stunt dummy. Eddie Kingston. Jon Moxley are definitely, I believe, will be going at it for the AEW title at Full Gear coming up this November. All right. Last swig of the bottle. All right. Doug, your thoughts on Eddie Kingston? Fantastic on the mic. Are you kidding me? Eddie Kingston is, if not the best on the microphone. God, his accent. He's got a set of chords, a pair of lungs. He is fantastic. Doesn't stutter or stammer on his words. Man, he was on commentary for the Archer-Moxley match and was on point. On point. jabbing with all three commentators, Excalibur, Ross, and Shivani, was talking about the match. Kingston, psychologically, verbally, everything is on point. He is fantastic. Anything involving this large hole on your face and this organ inside your noggin, he is fantastic. Number one in my book. But in the ring, it's a completely different story. That's why we have him in garbage brawls. That's why we have him in no DQs. That's why we have him in hardcore matches. It's to mask what he is not able to do physically. And that's great. Don't get me wrong, that is fantastic. That is how you protect that kind of a talent. Eddie Kingston is a once-in-a-lifetime talent, performer, everything when it comes to professional wrestling. This young man has a future in professional wrestling for the next 30 to 35 years. When this guy is 60 years old, he is going to be a figure in professional wrestling. In some way, shape, or form. In some way, shape, or form, okay? He can sell anything. Verbally, emotionally, he can sell anything. He is fantastic. But if you're expecting him to be the least that I wish that Eddie Kingston could be is Roddy Piper. He reminds me of Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper, God, fantastic on a microphone. Oh, he could sell a program. He is fantastic. Fantastic on the mic. In the ring, as basic can get. Did the heel mannerisms, participated with the crowd, did everything a heel was supposed to be, sold for the baby face, was magnificent. But you could not picture him the top of the heap, you know? I really think that Eddie Kingston reminds me a lot of Roddy Piper. Jamel bringing it up, he's 38 years old. He ain't a spring chicken, but yeah, he's not Bobby Fish or Bobby Roode. Eddie Kingston has a career in front of him as long as he's well protected. You're not seeing him do suicide dives anytime soon. You're not going to see him leaping off the top rope. I don't think he climbs the turnbuckle. I was Ginger climbing up to the top of my 3-foot dresser to take the curtains down to clean. I'm 41 years old. I'm afraid of leaping from 3 feet, okay? So I'm starting to identify with people leaping through ropes or off a top turnbuckle, okay? Believe me, when you reach this age, when you're in your mid-30s and late 40s, you don't have acrophobia. It's just you're worried about your legs. You're worried. So I completely identify, okay? But again, I digress going back to this. We're going to get Eddie Kingston and Johnny Moxley going into Full Gear. Johnny Moxley is supposed to be the main babyface of AEW, and I am sure a lot of people probably just are not buying it. I didn't want to show any graphics from his match with Lance Archer because that would just piss me off and it would go me into a tangent because Lance Archer is horrible. Jake the Snake can't save anything about Lance Archer. I could do an entire show about why Lance Archer is horrible. But I'm not going to because this might be one of the only annual shows I talk about AEW. Lance Archer sucks. Gonna go ahead and say it. You could go ahead and say he had great promos and great vignettes describing him or ushering him in. He stinks. No wonder we've got him in garbage brawls. Ugh. Those are the 5 things about AEW Dynamite. Doug, are you going to watch AEW Dynamite this week? Probably not. I've got to prepare for Turmoil in a Box, Hell in a Cell. The go-home shows for Hell in a Cell come up Monday night and Friday night. So, no, I'm not going to watch that. And I may not be able to watch AEW because I might be covering NXT on the Wrestleviews, as I did last week. So, yeah. Jamel telling me Lance Archer is 43 years old. No wonder. All right. That's all for the AEW Dynamite talk. News. It's a very light news week, but the injury list has been updated a ton. We're going to talk about that right now. Tongue? No, a ton. No, not the injury list. We talk about the news right now. Number one headline, in my opinion, coming down Monday. The WWE extended their lease on the Amway Center for another month. According to PW Insider, confirmed by F4Dub Online, the WWE extended the lease on the Amway Center for another 4 weeks. The lease was set to end October the 30th, the end of this month, but now it's going to take them into November. The current deal is structured so that the company must spend at least $200K to rent the Amway Center. WWE is spending over $450K in the current deal. Here's the breakdown of the events. On Sundays, $12.5K. Mondays and Fridays, $10K. On any other days the WWE works inside of the arena, that's $7,500. And for any days of work that is not being done, it's $2,500. Last week, Governor DeSantis opened up the state to allow full attendance at stadiums. WWE's current contract with the Amway Center does not include allowances for fans to be in attendance. So the deal would have to be reworked to allow that. So for the time being, this 30-day renewal does not involve fans being in the arena. After November, if they are going to renew their lease, I'm not sure if they're going to alter that for fans to be in attendance, because I don't think the amount of revenue would be worth it. The aesthetics would not be worth it at all. We'll go over the aesthetics later on here when we talk more about AEW's anniversary and its 1 year of being on TNT. But Spectrum Sports 360's John Alba reported that the Amway Center will be used as a polling place on November the 3rd for Tuesday, voting day. And WWE does not run any shows on Tuesdays, but the arena would need to be reconfigured to allow this, using the concourses, not necessarily using the body and bowl of the arena, maybe. So, yeah. This is interesting. I said earlier this year that we might approach a arena wars of some sort with the WWE, in that there are other states that are gradually opening up to allow events to occur. But now that might be coming to an end because we are seeing an uptick in COVID-19 cases. Especially here in my state of North Carolina. We entered a phase 3 where now we can have open gatherings for entertainment events, but they're only at, I believe, 30% capacity. Just today, the Carolina Panthers, the NFL football team, had their home game first time with fans in attendance. Normally, you can have over 60,000 in attendance at a Carolina Panthers game. They only allowed 7,000. So I'm not sure if we're going to enter an arena wars involving the WWE, but right now the arena is the biggest problem that they have, Gresh. Saying we. Yeah, this is a big deal. But speaking of arenas and speaking of big deals, New Japan today announcing Wrestle Kingdom 15 will be a 2-night event next year on January the 4th and 5th out of the Tokyo Dome. You heard right. Out of the Tokyo Dome. That's where they held it last year for the first time for 2 consecutive nights and had 70,000 in attendance. Is that going to happen again? Probably not. But New Japan going back to the Tokyo Dome amidst the pandemic. Are we going to pull a Thunderdome here? Are we going to have limited attendance? Limited attendance, only have 6,000? Have them up to the rafters, Thought the they will not have as many. WWE has they've bought all of the laser lights. Wrestle Kingdom and New Japan are not going to have as many laser lights as what the WWE has right now, that's for sure. This is fascinating to me. Going back to the Tokyo Dome, New Japan, amidst the pandemic, I have got to see the logistics behind this, okay? I've really got to see the logistics behind this. All right. Hey, Doug, did you get your sounders and everything situated and everything? Oh, yeah, I sure did. In police news, a trial date has been set for Alberto Del Rio's aggravated kidnapping indictment. According to PW Insider, the trial will begin January the 25th next year. Juan Rodriguez Chucuan has been charged with 4 counts of sexual assault and 1 count of aggravated kidnapping. If convicted, he could face a maximum of 20 years in prison with the sexual assault charges. When it comes to aggravated kidnapping, a maximum of 99 years in prison. Fines for each could be up to 10 grand. In other news on the law front, but not exactly legal, Joey Ryan. Cue in the booze. Joey Ryan has filed a $10 million breach of contract lawsuit against Impact Wrestling. Joseph Meehan, known as Joseph Ryan to those that love his dick, is suing Anthem Wrestling and the parent company Impact Wrestling, alleging that the company breached his contract by releasing him in June due to numerous allegations made against him during the Speaking Out movement. Meehan is seeking $10 million due to damages he allegedly suffered by Anthem's actions. The lawsuit also asks for Meehan's attorney's fees to be covered. It also asks for the court to give any other relief he is ruled to be entitled to. According to the lawsuit, the contract was signed on September the 1st of last year and set to expire in August 31st of 2021. The contract is alleged to have been breached when Impact Wrestling's Scott D'Amore emailed Meehan on June the 22nd to inform him he was being terminated due to the allegations made against him. Meehan would soon receive a letter signed by Anthem's president Ed Nordholm that his contract was amended to be ended on June the 22nd of this year. Meehan's lawsuit alleges that Impact breached his contract, stating that Anthem Wrestling, quote, failed to perform as guaranteed in the express language of the contract by failing to follow and abide by the terms prescribed by Article 8, term and termination. It also alleges that Anthem Wrestling, quote, failed to perform as guaranteed by failing to adhere to the express terms prescribed in Section 8.03, Paragraph A's Section I, Section 1. In other words, this joker was released from his contract, and he's going to have a hell of a time trying to convince a court that it was done unethically. He's going to have a hell of a time telling the judge, even though I sexually harass women and, can also be a sexual predator if you called those terms that's still no reason for me to be released from my contract where I am seen on television. Try. Just go ahead and try, Joe. Go ahead and try. You know, he's a piece of work, ain't he? Press release from the sources. I had so many emails and Twitter DMs regarding this press release, and I am super psyched about this. WWE and Constellation Brands Beer Division announce a partnership that will see a Constellation's Victoria beer be, quote, the official beer of SummerSlam in next year's SummerSlam 2021. The company's two other beer brands, Corona and Modelo, will also invest in the partnership. So, Constellation Beers is Corona and Modelo. They have entered a brand partnership with the WWE to be the official beer sponsor for SummerSlam 2021 and many other events. Ladies and gentlemen, the WWE has finally gone beyond sponsoring their own events. The WWE is past Snickers, Taco Bell, and Castrol GTX. The WWE is finally an adult. They're finally an adult. Brand partnership. What this means is the WWE could have branded alcoholic beverages. The official Austin 316 brew being an ABV of 3.16. CM Punk non-alcoholic beer. I don't know. I'm just throwing terms out there. Dead Man. Well, there's already Rogue Dead Guy. Dead Man Undertaker beer. Seamus Irish Red Lager. Oh, the potential is unlimited here. All right. Roman Reigns getting his own IPA goose. No, I want Matt Riddle with a hazy IPA. Doug, you are a marketing fucking genius. Oh, God. Jamel saying Triple H's beer is going to be watered down. What are we going to do with John Cena's beer that he constantly kicks out of every finisher? Wade Barra Stout. Yes, Wade Barra Stout. Oh, bad news stout. This is so good. I cannot wait. I am super, super psyched about this. The problem is Constellation Beers is Corona and Modelo, and those are piece of shit Mexican pilsners. The potential here is great. I'm incredibly curious, but my expectation is, my level of expectation is way down. We already saw the release of WWE wines. I did not want to talk about that because I did not want to show them to Deanna, and she would be insulted, okay? So right now, we can be as creative as we want to be with this Goose R-Truth malt liquor. But still, okay, stop. We're marking out to this. We need to stop. Stop it. We can't mark out, okay? We need to be serious about this. These guys do Corona and Modelo, okay? So we got to think Andrade is going to be the Modelo guy, says Crash. God damn it, you're marking. I'm marking. Miz gets a seltzer. Awesome seltzer. Jamel, God, stop it. You're not helping me. I'm trying to talk us away from the cliff. Okay? Trying to talk us away. You got to simmer down. We're professionals. Okay? All right. Okay. Daniel in the chat room going, wee! WWE sent a championship belt to the NBA Lakers. Yeah, that's really great. But their YouTube account hit a milestone of 50 billion views. And that's billion with a B and views with a V. 50 billion views. John Cena has been announced as the new voice of Honda. That's really great. But you know the bigger news, and now that we are really paying way more attention to this than we should, and it's only because the WWE wrestlers can't play video games on their free time for money anymore. It's because the WWE filed for 6 new trademarks. They are Skull King, okay, WWE Saturday Morning Slam, and 4 performers out of NXT UK. Flash Morgan Webster, Ilya Dragunov, Isla Dawn, and Jack Stars. Wow. Yeah, that's what you got there for the trademarks. Anthem Sports and Entertainment is bringing Ohio Valley Wrestling to the Game Plus Network. What's a Game Plus Network? Where is the Game Plus Network? It's an exclusive national cable broadcaster. Okay. They're on cable. They sure as hell aren't on my Dish network. Okay. Game Plus? Is that like the second one for Game Show Network or something? I don't know what that is. I don't know. Major League Wrestling reportedly hired a former WWE SmackDown head writer to their organization. According to PW Insider, MLW has hired Alex Greenfield, former head writer for SmackDown. Greenfield was the head writer for SmackDown for 36 episodes between 06 and 07 and was also a writer for 43 episodes of Monday Night Raw in 06. He also served as a writer for various pay-per-view events for the WWE in 05, 06, and 07 that included SummerSlam and WrestleMania 22. He will be working as a producer for MLW. That's going to be interesting. Curious about that. How the layout of that is going to be. I'm very, very curious. Color me purple. That is curious. Oh, cue it up. Okay, everyone. Oh, here we go. You saw a picture of her. You saw it all over the Twitter. You were going bonkers. You saw everyone losing their shit. Everyone go nuts. Former wrestler and Total Divas cast member Ava Marie is set to return to the WWE. Lose your shit. Oh, she sucks. Oh, she can't wrestle. Oh, she's just a diva. Oh, she's just a spokesmodel. Oh, she can't even do an arm drag right. I don't even think she knows what a figure 4 is unless it involves 4 guys. Oh, first reported by Cultaholic and confirmed by multiple sources, the former Total Divas cast member Ava Marie is set to return. PW Insider is reporting that she is in Orlando for tapings this coming week and is undergoing a physical. The deal was finalized last month on September the 20th. It is not known if she'll be returning as an in-ring performer or as a personality. Take a sip of the sources. We were riding high on thinking of beers for the WWE. Take a sip of the sources. I am going to level and be incredibly honest with all of you right now. I hope to God this is true. I pray to God this is true. Of all of the returns that we have had to the WWE, Wade Barrett, new people like Dominic Mysterio, of all, Mickey James returning about 1.5 years ago, of all of the people, well, actually, that was more 2.5 years ago. of all of the people returning to the WWE, I could not be more excited about this one. Oh, Doug, you got to be sarcastic. I am not sarcastic at all. I cannot wait for her televised return. First off, the internet will implode. It will absolutely implode. It doesn't matter what she's doing. It doesn't matter. It will implode on itself. So number one, I am for anything trolling the internet. I am for anything causing the internet to implode. I need this. This is my dream. Oh. Number two, I don't care if she is better in the ring. I don't care if she's gone through training. I don't care how much better she is in the ring. That makes no difference to me. I don't care. I just want her to show up. When she was in NXT for just a hot minute, her entrances were fantastic. Do you remember her entrances that she had where she never showed up? Do you remember that? They were fantastic. It was just the sultry music in the background and an announcer narrating facts about her. It was fantastic. I think it was narrated by Big Cass. I think it was. I loved her entrance. I didn't care how horrible she was in the ring. That was the point. The point was she was horrible in the ring. But she won. She was showcased. And she was given her entrance. I need Ava Marie back in my life. Doug, you're a simp. No, I'm not a simp. This has nothing to do with chauvinism. No. This has nothing to do with male chauvinism or being a pig. I loved this character. I loved this performer. My God. It was great. It had so much potential. Please make this be true. Let this be true. Please, I beg of you. I need outrage. I want Twitter to cave in like a neutron star. Okay? I need this entertainment. I need this. I crave it. Such good news for the week. This is actually a slow news week, but it's been a good week. And finally, let's end these the news things on a happy note. WWE NXT UK star Dave Mastiff announced his marriage on Instagram last week. Yep. Big props. God, look at the size of that dude's hand compared to hers. Holy crap. But announced it over the Instagram, I think it was a couple of days ago, or was it yesterday? No, it was yesterday. Yep. Dave Mastiff getting married, showing it there on the Instagram. And then also, some guy named John Cena had a private ceremony to get married to his girlfriend, Shay Shamahat. Hold on, spell it, Doug. You're just making fun. Shay, Shahirazzadeh. Shahirazzadeh. Shay Smith, John Cena, getting married last Monday. So, yeah. Can we just go back to Dave Mastiff's hand? Dear Lord, look at the size of that thing. I don't want to do a picture when Deanna and I show our engagement getting married because I've got basketball player hands. I've got very long, lanky fingers. That would not be very entertaining to show. News on the injury front. Natalya went to Twitter showing off how she missed of her missing tooth, courtesy of Lacey Evans. Last Monday on the Monday Night Raws, there was a battle royale of the vagina persuasion to determine the number one contender for the Raw Women's title. Natalya and Lacey Evans were in said match, and Lacey Evans socked her in the mouth. So what happened? She lost the tooth. Right there. Took it right to the face. Natalya showing it off, I guess. Is that something you'd really want to show off? I know. I don't know. But Jesus Christ. Okay, so Natalya really takes it for the business. She throws potatoes, takes potatoes. She loves to starch. But the other news, and you probably saw it covered by myself on the NXT recap, is that Finn Balor underwent surgery on his broken jaw, and it's not sure how long he's going to be out. During a segment involving General Manager William Regal on last Wednesday's episode of NXT, Finn Balor may be out now for a few weeks, and the future of the NXT title will be determined in the near future regarding such surgery. So we're not sure what's going to be happening there. So let's go to that IR list of the injured. No one from SmackDown is injured for the first time ever. Since the inception of this program, the entire roster of WWE's Friday Night SmackDown is healthy. Think about that. I can't think of a time that's ever happened. Seriously, I can't think of a time where an entire WWE program's roster is healthy. Could that be because of the WWE draft? Not sure. But to tell you the truth, everyone that's on here was not drafted. Becky Lynch has got a tiny human in her tum-tum. She's not going to be back until WrestleMania times. Jinder Mahal, reparative surgery on the same knee that he ruptured his patella on. He should be due back sometime very soon, this month or next month. Edge, torn tricep. He will not be back until WrestleMania times. Charlotte Flair, cosmetic surgery on a boob of hers that's being repaired. She'll be back in time for the Survivor Series. Eric, elbow surgery, pins going into his tricep. He's not going to be back until the Royal Rumble. Ivar, cervical injury, a neck stinger of some kind. Not until SummerSlam of next year. His career may be over. Mickie James with a broken nose. She should be back in time post Hell in a Cell. So maybe in a couple of weeks. On the NXT side, Karrion Kross with a separated shoulder. He'll be back in time for Survivor Series. Tegan Nox, torn ACL for the third time. She's not going to be back until SummerSlam times. Aaron, no, I won't do that. Ridge Holland with a ruptured patella. He's not going to be back in time until SummerSlam. Fons Balor, broken jaw. He's not going to be back until Survivor Series times. So, those are the people that are hurt. What about the people who aren't hurt? What about the people who are perfectly healthy? What about the people who haven't been on television or pay-per-view of the WWE for, say, 3 weeks? They end up on a very special list. A list of my own design. One that I have curated for ages, for days to come. And I know you all enjoy it. It's kind of been a little difficult, trying to pay attention because the WWE doesn't really update their main roster. But, you gotta figure it out for your own logic. And I'm sure that it will be updated very soon because new promo photos will be taken of everyone. They'll figure it out, but I haven't figured out. Raw Underground is canceled. Raw Underground is canceled. Everyone's staying on it. It's a WWE milk carton. Oh, Shane McMahon, go fuck himself. Raw Underground is canceled. Arturo Ruas is back. Fuck yeah. You're not going to take me down. Milk carton is forever. Forever, I say. Let's kick things off with Jimmy Uso. Doug, he's injured. What are you talking about? He showed up at Clash of Champions, okay? He showed up at Clash of Champions hobbling around on that bum leg. I know I could have kept him off because he was injured, but I'm counting on him showing up at the Turmoil in a Box for Hell in a Cell. So, no, he's still on it. Showed up at Clash of Champions. He's going to show up again at the upcoming Turmoil in a Box. Hey, do what I tell you. There you go. Bronson Reed, haven't seen him since the September 23rd episode of NXT in some gauntlet eliminator match thingy to determine the number one contender for the NXT title. That was Kyle O'Reilly that won that match. Bronson Reed, yeah, that push was fun. Marina Shafir. This is peculiar. We haven't seen her since that same episode of NXT where she was in a battle royale of the Vagina Persuasion, the second one of the year by NXT, to determine the number one contender for the NXT women's title. That's weird. Why? Because her friend appears later on down the line in this segment. Peyton Royce, get this. Peyton Royce has not been seen since the September 21st episode of Raw where she faced off against Asuka. But her former tag team partner, Billie Kay, has been on television, and she was on it last Monday when she was in the Battle Royale of the Vagina Persuasion on Monday Night Raw to determine the number one contender for Raw's women's title. How is that? Why was Billie Kay there but not Peyton Royce? I'm confused. And why was Marina Shafir in NXT's but not Jessamine Duke? Here's a boy. There's a boy. You remember this guy? He used to be the stalwart of the WWE milk carton. He had 4 weeks to go to become a golden gallon until some fucking Raw Underground segment was devised. Raw Underground is gone. It is done. It is no more happening anymore. So that means Arturo Ruas is back on the milk carton. We haven't seen him since September the 21st when he took part in the Raw Underground shit. And so did Riddick Moss. So you telling me those two are going to be, no, it's going to be a while. Nah. Riddick Moss hasn't been seen since then either. Oh, God. Nah, they're going to be a tag team. Titus O'Neil, we haven't seen him since that same episode of Monday Night Raw on September the 21st. He was getting beat up by Retribution in the back. It doesn't matter if we see him on television or not. He's too busy saving the city of Tampa from COVID, unemployment, malnutrition, lack of education, lack of housing. This man is saving the entire city of Tampa. That's what he's doing. And you know what? More power to him. I don't care what he's doing. Jessamine Duke, mentioned to her before. She was, what is she? She hasn't been seen since the September 7th episode of Monday Night Raw when she took part in the Raw Underground. Yeah. Got another one who was in the Raw Underground. Yeah. We'll see what happens with this one. Oh, I'm digging it that Raw Underground is no longer with us. I really, really am. I love it. Scarlett. even though Karrion Kross is injured with a separated shoulder and he relinquished his title on August the 26th from NXT, that doesn't mean that Scarlett is left off of this list. We haven't seen her since she was standing alongside with him. I know probably the internet connection might be a little off on you guys, I know, but we'll see. Scarlett, she'll be coming back whenever Karrion Kross decides to come back as well. Induce Share. Haven't seen them since the June 24th episode of NXT, where they were getting a monologue delivered by their manager, Malcolm Bivens. We have not seen them because the color green is the reason we haven't seen them. As far as Malcolm Bivens goes, he's still doing wacky, funny shit on Twitter that has absolutely nothing to do with what he's ever done in NXT. As far as I'm concerned, this act is dead. This act is dead. Ugh. God. Ugh. Mojo Rawley, haven't seen him since the June 19th episode of SmackDown, where he had a match against Shorty G to convince us that Shorty G was a thing. 3 times this year, we were attempted to be convinced that Shorty G was a thing. It happened with programs against Sheamus, involving Apollo Crews, and now what is he doing? We don't know. He was a free agent drafted to SmackDown. He wasn't drafted on television or online. What's the point? What's worse is, what's the point of Mojo Rawley? What's the point of the Forgotten Sons, who haven't been seen since the May 29th episode of SmackDown Live, where they delivered a monologue and gave some wacky salute? Jackson Riker is too busy spouting off biblical quotes on the Twitter. Cutler and Blake are smart and saying not a goddamn thing because they value their professional career. What's happening with these guys? Who the hell knows, but they're completely healthy. Chelsea Green. Haven't seen her since the May 27th episode of NXT, where she teamed up with Charlotte Flair to face off against Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. After that match, where she was victorious, she kicked Robert Stone's managerial expertise to the curb. Since then, Robert Stone has only missed 3 weeks of TV, while Chelsea Green has missed nearly 5 months. What has Chelsea Green been doing? All she's been doing is posting bikini pics on Twitter and Instagram. I don't know. People are saying that they miss her. Miss her from doing what? Miss her from doing what? Mansoor, haven't seen him since the February 27th Super Showdown event out of Riyadh, Jeddah, Bismarck, South Dakota, because he faced off against Dolph Ziggler and he won, because he will only perform in his home country of South Dakota. Yes, he's on 205 Live, and yes, occasionally he does some other things with the WWE, but he has done nothing on NXT, Raw, or SmackDown, and that's why are you paying attention to this, Doug? Because he's on the main roster. Kona Reeves, haven't seen him since the February 19th episode of NXT, where he took a powder to Keith Lee in less than 25 seconds. Vanessa Bourne, haven't seen her since the January 15th episode of NXT, where she took part in the first of 2 battle royales of the Vagina Persuasion on NXT to determine the number 1 contender for the NXT Women's title. Bianca Belair won that match. Vanessa Bourne has not been seen for 9 months. I don't know what's happening. Who knows? But take a sip of the sources. We're dipping into 2019 and the stalwart of the WWE milk carton. We are 4 weeks away from christening the brand new golden gallon of the WWE milk carton. A golden gallon of the WWE milk carton is someone who has been perfectly healthy, is on the main roster, and has not seen action on WWE television or pay-per-view for a full calendar year. The only ones to achieve this status are the Colognes of Primo and Epico, who went collectively together for over 15 months. Epico for longer, Primo for a little over a year. The two of them went a full calendar year and then some without being on television and being perfectly healthy. Ladies and gentlemen, the stalwart of the WWE milk carton, Bo Dallas. We have not seen him since the November 15th episode of SmackDown from last year, where him, Curtis Axel, and Drew Gulak were in the ring making fun of Braun Strowman leading into Survivor Series. Since then, Curtis Axel is no longer with the company, and Drew Gulak has been drafted to Monday Night Raw to do 24/7 title shenanigans. This cannot be taken away from me. There's no more Raw Underground. There's no more Raw Underground. There is no way that this creature is going to appear on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or at Hell in a Cell. No way. Quick question, Andrew asking me, when was the last time Santana Garrett was on TV? It doesn't matter. She's not on the main roster. All right. I cannot wait. This is going to be a joyous occasion. I need to find a MIDI version of Kool and the Gang's Celebrate is what I need to find. I need to find Kool and the Gang's Celebrate that will not get me hit by the YouTube Gestapo. Who is coming up to the milk carton next week? Not a whole lot of people. Wait, are there any big major names? Yes, there is. There's a major name that might appear on the WWE milk carton if they don't show up next week. Place your bets. Place your bets. All right. That's enough of the milk carton. Time to talk serious stuff, because last Wednesday was AEW Dynamite's 1-year anniversary. It's not, I know the headline of the video says Happy Birthday AEW, but you know, what the hell do I know? AEW has been around for longer than a year. They had All In was, I believe, their christening a couple of Labor Day weekends ago. So I want to talk about AEW's impact on professional wrestling since their introduction to cable television with AEW Dynamite. It is incredibly important. There is everything positive about this. There is nothing negative. There are a lot of positives to talk about when it comes to AEW. So, Doug, where do we begin? Well, AEW Dynamite has been on TNT for a calendar year, and they have made an incredible impact on professional wrestling. Even though some other organizations will say that they've done it first, or, firsts are a big thing. But when it comes to grabbing eyeballs and getting national media attention, that is a way bigger thing. So I'm going to kind of go through the list of achievements, accolades, but also where they are as a company and how they are going to be a driving force in the professional wrestling industry. I know that's incredibly difficult to say. It's incredibly weird. Oh, but Doug, TNA and Impact. Well, wait a minute. Would anyone have that kind of a vocal tone saying that? they'd have a different one. I think they'd have more of a voice like mine. Like, well, Doug, TNA and Impact Wrestling, they tried doing that, and oh God, that's been running to the ground. How many TV deals have they had? Oh, don't even Monday Night Wars, Doug. Is that true? AEW is a completely different beast with a completely different... We'll get into it. First off, the things that AEW has done for the good of the professional wrestling industry as a whole. AEW, in my opinion, apart from Impact trying to grab the headlines of having a female heavyweight champion and then that female heavyweight champion being about as professional as a 3-year-old child, AEW is incredibly progressive. They are an incredibly progressive professional wrestling organization. They should be heralded as role models to the generation that has been growing up to be more vocal about their sexuality. Even though I could get into generational arguments about labels and stuff, these past 18 months to maybe 36 months, past 3 years, ever since the passing and the legalization of homosexual marriage in this country from the Supreme Court, it has been encouraged to be as open about your sexuality as you can. You owe it to yourself. You are just as much of a human being with regards to your sexuality and your orientation and what you regard yourself as than anyone else. You are who you want to be. And AEW, for the past year, has heralded that with the inclusion, advertisement, and demonstration of transgendered wrestlers. If I can cue it. Like Nyla Rose. She became the first transgendered champion of any professional wrestling organization. It doesn't take away... That's all you got to say. You don't even need to look at the picture, okay? Nyla Rose and Sonny Kiss have been role models for anyone who labels themselves as transgendered, non-gender specific, part of the LGBTQ community. They have been role models for them. Is this something that WWE would try for? No, they couldn't. This is only something that a new company like All Elite Wrestling can do. When you are new and you are young, you can take as many chances as you want. And to me, this is one of, if not the biggest impact they have had on professional wrestling. That they have destroyed any borders and barriers when it comes to how you're labeled as a gender within professional wrestling, the industry, the form of entertainment, or how you view it as entertainment as a whole. Whether you can say the performers are successful or not at their craft in the ring, that's left for another discussion. They have advertised, AEW has, advertising that Nyla Rose and Sonny Kiss are not gender specific. They're transgendered or gender neutral. And I think that's great. I've got my opinions, but they don't... I've got my opinions on the stuff like that, but my personal opinions cannot set apart from the fact that All Elite Wrestling is trying to welcome as many people as they can into this incredibly insipid and ridiculous form of entertainment that is professional wrestling. I want this to be as open as possible. I want everyone in to this stupid form of entertainment. let the chauvinists be the chauvinists, okay? Let them wish that bra and panties matches come back. You know what? They're going to die. The ones that are open-minded, that have their horizons broadened, whose lenses are not as smudged, they're younger. And I want them to enjoy this stupid form of theater that I enjoy. So, to Nyla Rose and Sonny Kiss being showcased on this avenue, I think is a great thing. And it's something that, it'll take a while for something like WWE to embrace, but they're publicly traded, so it's kind of a bit of a stretch. Other things about All Elite Wrestling that have made an incredible impact on professional wrestling involves, well, Doug, could you press your buttons correctly? Is AEW Dark. AEW Dark is a 2-hour-long program that is aired the Tuesday before AEW Dynamite on TNT on their YouTube channel. But Doug, there's NWA Power. No, this is different. NWA Power, that's their only show. That's the only show they have. AEW Dark is a 2-hour-long program on YouTube the Tuesday before AEW Dynamite that compilates AEW Dynamite. Stuff that happens on AEW Dark coincides with storylines that are happening on AEW Dynamite. But also on AEW Dark, with limited commercial breaks and it being totally live almost, Dark is 2 hours of pure wrestling content. No cuts, no commercials, no nothing. Why do I know this? Guys, have you looked at our headlines on Wrestleview when it comes to AEW Dark? Have you seen what the weekly headline is of AEW Dark and what's coming up on their show? 16 matches are introduced for this Tuesday's episode of Dark. And that's at a minimum. Guys, there have been times I've seen 17 matches announced for AEW Dark on YouTube. And the big thing about all of these matches that they have on AEW Dark involve talents that are not signed by AEW. Sugar Dunkerton has been on this program twice this calendar year. One act that really caught my eye is a guy named Puff. P-U-F. This guy is a fat fuck. He's got to be like 380, 390 pounds, 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", but moves like a guy 100 pounds less and is fun as hell to watch. Okay? AEW Dark is what NXT wishes it was, but they can't be. AEW Dark tries to showcase talent that is not signed by AEW exclusively or by contract. They pay them for their one match and see what they can do. Andrew brings it up. Brian Pillman Jr. is a mainstay on that show. I believe he himself has a match coming up against NWA champ Nick Aldis. So AEW Dark is a fantastic vehicle for performers who are looking to be signed, looking to break in, that catch AEW's eye, and they want to give them some time to go ahead and sell themselves. It is the Craigslist of independent wrestlers. It is the Craigslist. Now, granted, some of these matches you're going to see on here are talents that are with AEW, but they're meant to further storylines. Sean Spears with Tully Blanchard in tow versus Christopher Daniels. Aaron Solo versus Luchasaurus with Jungle Boy in tow. Brandy Rhodes is a mainstay on this show because they dare never have her on network television. Brandy Rhodes facing off against Killen King. Bishop King versus Colt Cabana. Sean Dean versus Matt Sydal. Evilise, that's that chick who didn't sell for Thunder Rosa. She's her and Diamante facing off against Kenzie Page and Skylar Moore. Jungle Boy with Luchasaurus in tow versus KTB. Frankie Kazarian versus Jack Evans with Angelico in tow. Sonny Kiss with Joey Janela in tow versus Ray Phoenix. That'll be a good one. Penta El Zero M. Don't know what the fuck that is, but that's against a QT Marshall. Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison versus the Butcher and the Blade. Adam Priest versus Alan Angels. He's number 5 of the Dark Order. Scorpio Sky versus Fuego del Sol. David Ali versus Ricky Starks. 6-man tag involving the Dark Order. And Wardlow versus Vinny Pacifico. 16 matches. No commercials, straight through on AEW's YouTube channel. AEW Dark is the Craigslist of independent wrestling. The only way you can sell yourself nowadays amidst COVID. So, yeah. AEW Dark has been fantastic when it comes to professional wrestling in general. It opens... If you're just surfing around and you want to catch some wrestling, but you don't want to fish too deep for New Japan or Ring of Honor, this is the closest thing you have to independent wrestling with WWE budget. It's the closest thing you've got. But probably the biggest thing, Doug, could you... Oh, shit. Never mind. But probably one of the biggest things to come from AEW and their calendar year of being on TNT, they had to cope with a pandemic. COVID-19 has taken down so many small businesses in this country and worldwide. Over 30 million people unemployed. And after only 5 months, 6 months of being, 5 months of being on network television, you would think that COVID-19 was AEW's death nail. That's it. They're done. There's no way that they can continue on. But it pays to have owners who don't rely on professional wrestling for their income, privately and professionally. This is a screenshot of the debut episode of AEW on TNT, AEW Dynamite. Their debut episode. Look at this. This was a crowd of over 14,000. Cody advertised it over the Twitter the following Thursday. Great ratings grab. Look at this. Then as the year progressed, this is a shot out of Huntsville, Alabama in February from an AEW Dynamite show. Granted, the crowd might be a little smaller, but it's a smaller arena. They might attract 2,000 or 3,000 to a show, but you're not going to see them trying to fill up the Amway Center in Orlando with 12,000. They used their money wisely and leased out buildings they knew that they could coalesce into a television show. If they weren't doing them at arenas, they were doing them on cruise ships. They were taking advantage of Chris Jericho advertising a cruise ship deal over a weekend. So here we have Rock and Wrestling from last year, where they would record AEW Dynamite on a cruise ship. Take advantage of the resources that you're given. And that has been the credo of All Elite Wrestling. Taking advantage of the sources that you have, resources that you have. What you're looking at here is a shot of Daly's Place Amphitheater from the Jacksonville Jaguars football stadium. This is the naked, completed version of the 2016 5,500 attendance amphitheater of Daly's Place. This is where AEW Dynamite is produced and broadcasted live every Wednesday now due to COVID-19. They've had shows at this arena before COVID-19, but this is considered their home arena. AEW's home arena is Daly's Place out of the Jacksonville Jaguars football stadium. Much as how the WWE in their early days, Madison Square Garden was their arena. For Jim Crockett Promotions, it was Greensboro Coliseum out of here in North Carolina. So here, this is their new home. And due to the COVID-19 restrictions, I mean, they're considered an essential service. They're considered a media company, so they're allowed to produce. So, with their owners being the owners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they have a home arena. This shot that you're seeing here is from their show that they did, I think it was something for the Fallen. Fall for the Fallen or something. Fight for the Fallen was what this was. This is from Daly's Place, the amphitheater of 5,500 out of Jacksonville Jaguars Arena, Coliseum. But look at how this is set up. How the amphitheater stage was used to be the front of the hard camera. So they have bleacher seats and show that people are there. Where's the entrance ramp? It's way over on the corner of that amphitheater stage. This is how AEW was set up pre-COVID out of their home arena. Keep in mind the logistics of this stage. Now, fast forward to post-COVID, and here we are, where now that amphitheater stage is used as the entrance ramp and stage for AEW Dynamite. The hard camera does not face towards a crowd. It now faces towards the entrance ramp. This would be the paradigm, the protocol for WWE's production. All Elite Wrestling figured out COVID-19 professional wrestling production before the WWE could. Let that sink in. A wrestling organization that is less than 2 years old figured out how to produce a nationally televised professional wrestling program before the giant of the last 40 years could. The giant of the last 40 years that has bottomless pockets, that devotes its entire existence to professional wrestling. They couldn't figure it out. But a company where this is a hobby to the owners figured it out. How is that possible? How is that possible? It's through open-mindedness. It's through broadened horizons that this is done. It is through being a privately owned company and not being publicly traded. It is when you don't have to worry about money. All Elite Wrestling is never going to have a problem with money. Never. So much emphasis is placed on the WWE and Vince McMahon because that's their business. That is Vince McMahon's business. That's all he's ever made his money from, is professional wrestling. They're a publicly traded company because they needed more money. They needed more investors. And so Vince McMahon can no longer be the head guy in charge and make all the shots. He's got to have others to be brought in, even though the McMahon family owns a lot of shares. And but they had to open up their doors to try to bring more money in, and now they are subjugated to a lot more scrutiny. They are under a lot more pressure. All Elite Wrestling? Not so much. One thing, again, that I said before is that All Elite Wrestling is a private company. They're not publicly traded. That's one thing. We all know the owner of the WWE, Vince McMahon, but let's talk. So I've talked about the impact of All Elite Wrestling on the industry of professional wrestling, but this is an impact that they have had here that I'm about to talk about. It's going to be a little bit of history lesson and a little bit of background about All Elite Wrestling that we need to remember. This is what the WWF used to be, but is way different. Let's talk about the owner of All Elite Wrestling. No, not him. This is Tony Khan, CEO, whatever. What are the titles that he has? He has so many titles here. Help me out. What are his titles here? Look at co-owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and Fulham Football Club of the English Premier League. He is the founder, co-owner, president, and CEO of All Elite Wrestling. Those are all of the titles that he has. But he's co-owner. He is one of two owners. He's the one you see on TV all the time and maybe doing some press conference junkets and wearing an incredibly horrible pair of glasses that really don't match his face. But this isn't the guy we should be talking about. We should be talking about owner number two, his father, Shahid Khan, is who we should be talking about. Who is Shahid Khan? I will admit to you freely, I am looking at a little script here that I wrote about him. I'm not going off the top of my head. Shahid Khan was born in, first off, he's 70 years old. Born in Lahore, Pakistan, to a middle-class family involved in the construction industry. His mother, now retired, was a professor of mathematics. He moved to the U.S. in 1967 at the age of 16 and studied at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. UIUC is where he went. When he went to the U.S., he spent his first night at $2 a night room at a university YMCA, and he washed dishes for $1.20 an hour. He graduated from UIUC with a Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering in 1971. Okay? So what does this guy... But Doug, so he was smart when he was young, and he came from Pakistan. What does he do? Well, Khan worked at the automotive manufacturing company Flex and Gate while attending UIUC. When he graduated, he was hired as the engineering director of the company. In 1978, he started his own company called Bumper Works. And I'm going to go ahead and bring that up here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This is Bumper Works. Yep, here we go. He grew the company so that it supplied bumpers to the big three automakers of the early 80s, and that's Ford, GM, and Chrysler. In 84, he began supplying a small number of bumpers to Toyota for their pickup trucks. In 87, he became the sole supplier of Toyota pickup trucks, and then by 1989, Bumper Works supplied the entire Toyota line in the United States with bumpers. This then adapted into the Toyota way of manufacturing automobiles, to where it's not all done in one company. You bring different parts from different factories and different industries to make your car. Since then, the company had grown from $17 million in sales to $2 billion in sales by 2010. By 2011, and then what happened? By 2011, let me see, I'm trying to look here. Also, by 1980, when he started his company 4 years into it, he ended up buying his employer, Flexingate. So now, Flexingate is also Bumperworks. That's what you got here. I'll bring that up, that site here. So here's Flexingate. This is actually amazing to me, what Shahid Khan is. So here he is. Yeah, there we go. Origin, company that's been around since 1956. By 2011, Shahid Khan's Flexingate company had 12,450 employees out of 48 factories in the U.S. and other countries. In 2018, he had a revenue of $8.3 billion and was ranked as the 49th largest private U.S. company by Forbes. He's also ranked in automotive news as the 7th largest American automotive parts supplier and 33rd largest supplier in the world. So, this guy, Shahid Khan, he has money that is not involved with professional wrestling. Shahid Khan, as of September of this year, has a net worth of $7.9 billion. Vince McMahon, as of March of this year, has a net worth of 1.8. Ladies and gentlemen, better get used to this face and his son. Professional wrestling does not bring them their money. This is a hobby to them. But it's a hobby that's run by his son and Tony Khan that has been a big fan of professional wrestling. And sure, he's going to have performers and stuff to do what he hopes to achieve in professional wrestling. But this guy, Tony Khan, has a degree in business and finance, okay? This ain't some dumb kid that just wants to have real-life action figures in a wrestling ring. These guys know what they're doing when it comes to business. When it comes to business, they know how to achieve. According to Tony Khan, All Elite Wrestling has a 5-year plan. First, to have built up a brand. Second, built up a roster. And third, established AEW as a top brand in wrestling for an audience who desires fast-paced, exciting action, and they want a product that is more of a sporting-based product. That is a direct quote from Tony Khan back in April of last year. Right now, I believe they've built themselves up as a brand. I think they've built themselves up as a brand. Are they established? Not yet. Have they built up a roster? Kinda. All Elite Wrestling is going to be around for a very long time. It's not on TNT, it may be on a different network, and that's okay. But money is not a problem. And that's where All Elite Wrestling has the freedoms to do what they want and make the impact on professional wrestling that they want to make an impact on. Whether it be through providing role models for those that are coming out that are anxious of their identity, or also whether it be introducing all of us who are completely ignorant to what's not WWE or whether it be to figuring out the problem and what it is to put on a product when the larger company can't. I watched AEW Dynamite's show last Wednesday and put it in comparison to the season premiere of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. The audio was way better. All Elite Wrestling figured out the audio long before WWE. They figured out how to perform in front of an empty crowd before the WWE could. AEW figured out how to make it feel like you're there before the WWE could. AEW figured out how to put on a professional wrestling program that I can actually stomach and watch for longer than the WWE could. I watched the entire DVR'd episode of AEW Dynamite from last Wednesday. I have yet to sit down and watch an entire WWE televised program that I DVR all the way through without fast forwarding unless I'm forced to recap it for Wrestleview. WWE has yet to figure out its audio, its Foley, its piped-in crowd noise. The WWE has yet to figure out how many jump cuts in a camera you really need to have to put on a professional wrestling program. If I could just mesh WWE's talent with AEW's production, and I cannot believe that I'm saying this, if I could just mix those two together, I would have the perfect professional wrestling organization. But one organization is too scared to be progressive. That's going to do it for Wrestleview Weekly. Yeah, you never thought that I would be that positive about All Elite Wrestling, did you? But I am. Seriously, does that mean that I'm going to be covering them all the time? Well, probably not. You know, all depends on the viewers. But I call it like I see it. Was I entertained by AEW Dynamite last Wednesday? That's okay. I mean, I'm sure they've had way better shows. I missed the Stadium Stampede show, but I know they can't do that all the time. So, but anyway. That's going to do it for Wrestleview Weekly. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Tune in this week, tomorrow, following Raw. The effervescent one, Mike Tedesco and Queen Victoria, will be covering the go-home show for Raw, going into Hell in a Cell this Sunday. Speaking of Hell in a Cell, this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel, myself and the effervescent one will be watching along. Turmoil in a Box. Hell in a Cell. I'm pretty sure it's going to be red. Oh, God. That was the worst thing they did last year, was making that thing red. And then the red lights came on for Bray Wyatt's thing. Oh, God. Will this be a better show than last year's Hell in a Cell? We'll see, but we'll see. Again, thank you all for stopping by. Thank you so much for watching on demand. If you haven't done so, for God's sakes, please like, share, and subscribe to the Wrestleview YouTube channel. We are just a handful away from 1,000. It's kind of a milestone. It's kind of a big number. I can't remember the last time I've ever had that big of a number associated with me. I'm shocked it would be associated with me. Thank you all so much. Have a safe week. Think of others before yourselves. Don't be an asshole. Wear a mask. And as always, know when you're being sold to.